kind of imagine Craig answering us in a Scottish accent because he is voiced by Craig Ferguson.
Nice.
I always think of Finding Nemo. Hello, Craig.
Yeah. I didn't write an intro because we didn't do enough last week for me to feel like I could write a whole intro without just repeating most of the last one. So,
Sweet.
so we will just kind of be jumping in.
Sounds like a plan to me. Oh, I need to roll 20.
We're experiencing some technical difficulties. Please continue.
Bye.
Your campaign is important to us.
Yeah.
Okay, so we came into the library, black sticky stuff on the walls, eating everything.
We're all silently quiet. We see paths on the floor.
Yeah.
One more traveled, one less traveled.
We're gonna die! It's a good thing silence is on, nobody can hear me.
I can voice all of my doubts and fears and no one will know.
Oh man,
Yeah.
this is gonna be fun.
Where is my tab?
But
There
it
is
seems
my tab.
like it's like old Mind Flayer and that there's these other guys in here right now.
Yeah, I got the Duragar running around.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask how much I knew about Duragar, but I'd be more like bedtime stories type thing. Not bedtime. Ghost stories, that's what I'm going for. I'm like, what's the word? These bedtime stories are wrong stories.
Are sitting next to this giant Goliath at their camp. Alright, get back to you. It's time for your story.
It's almost one of my backstories, just about, yeah.
Yeah.
I love my backstories. I'm coming up with more and I'm like, oh, it's so much fun.
I'm muted on hockey, by the way.
Oh, you are?
Are you?
Yeah,
Interesting.
my audio was coming through because I hadn't muted Discord when I put my headphones in.
Oh. Substance that is consuming some of the bookshelves. Some of the other bookshelves are still free. Partially grew over them in places, especially around the edge.
I'm getting a weird distortion between everything. I'm gonna rejoin. Drive it up!
That we saw, they were going to kind of the south, like both east and then south and one east and north. Is that right?
I don't remember what I said about that. I believe that the south and north paths are more commonly trodden. They look more worn in. And the one to the east is less used.
Oh, okay.
I think that's how it went.
Something like that.
I think that was one of those questions you guys asked me, and I just sort of decided the answer, and I don't have the answer in my notes, so it's not something I can look up without going back and like watching a clip of the last episode, because sometimes I type out those things when I say them, and sometimes I don't because I'm already typing something else. So.
Makes sense. So we're all like pantomiming in this bubble of silence.
Yeah.
Did you see the, there's a popcorn over there. Oh my God. So I'll just pantomime towards the less trodden one. I don't know how to pantomime that, but get that idea across of, hey, look, there's less tracks that way.
Yeah.
I think could Mouse like use her mage hand to just try to grab a book from the ones that look all funny, just to see what happens.
From around the edges where the glass is sort of.
Yeah, just to see like what it does.
Yeah.
It globs onto it.
Yeah. Yeah, you cast Mage Hand and you reach out with this spectral hand towards the glassy, semi sort of consumed bookshelves, and your Mage Hand is able to pass through it with no resistance. However, when you actually try to grasp a book and pull on it, the book will not move. It's pretty solidly sealed in there.
Interesting. Your video dropped again, Daniel.
Yeah, it's just being stupid.
Was everybody muted?
Is anyone else hearing an echo?
What?
Anyone else hearing what?
Like,
I hear an echo.
Yeah, we're getting an echo from somewhere.
I wonder if it's from mine. I've got mine coming through my speakers, but I turned down my speaker. Is there more of an echo now?
no?
I don't hear it now. Oh, what just happened?
My
Daniel
computer
dropped out.
hates me.
Oh,
That's doing like the same thing that Shars was doing, where it's like I could see everybody just fine, but then my audio would just die for like 5
Nope,
seconds.
Daniel,
and I
your
couldn't
audio's
hear
off.
anybody, and Shars over here like going crazy.
Daniel, your audio's off.
I still can't hear
I
anything.
can hear Daniel again.
Oh,
So,
gotcha.
I can't hear Daniel.
Sadie, can you still not hear Daniel?
No, I can hear Daniel now.
Okay. I'm just.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Okay. See if that does anything for the echo.
I haven't heard the echo for a while.
Yeah, I think it was because I had my output coming through my speakers so Jamie could listen, but I think it might just pick up a little bit too much of everything else. I don't know. So, okay.
Just so everyone knows, remember that if we're trying to stealth, I think silence is 20 feet foot radius and pass without traces of it.
Is it only?
Which means we have to really like each other.
Oh, I don't have a spell card
Yes.
for that one.
Yeah. So it'd be 20 feet from Sadie and 30 feet from me. So.
Stay in the silent huddle.
But we're not worried about stealth.
So which way, guys?
Which way were the footprint tracks?
There are some that go to the chamber where you fought the cave fishers. There are some that go kind of south and east, and some that go north, some that go straight east. The ones that go like north, not north from where you're standing right now, but they branch off and go north about here. Those ones are more well-worn. The ones leading down this way are more well-worn. The ones leading straight this way are a little less used.
So what's our goal here, guys? Do we just want to like get out, or do we want to run into these?
I mean,
Bit of both.
we want to get out. Yeah, I mean, realistically, we want to get out. But in game, we just want to get out.
Pretty much we want to get out, but yeah, I mean, bit of both on it.
Yeah, I think we're just moving forward because we can't go backward at this point, and just see what we come in contact with.
Which way were you wanting to go, Dara?
I was trying to pantomime towards the less trodden ones.
Cool. Let's go left.
Okay.
Which was the left one?
I need like a group select to move the whole group of
Yeah.
silent G people.
Alright, I can do that.
Wow, you can.
Oh.
Well, if you have a group.
If you have control of
Yeah,
all
if you
the
have control
tokens,
of
you can
3 or
group
4 of
them.
them, sure, why not?
Oh.
Smart.
So it's left. Upward.
Yeah, which one are we talking about? We're talking about this one
No.
over here?
This way or the way Tomonti's going.
This one here? Because there's nothing up top, right?
There's up top. It's just an alcove of books that have been.
Let's go through the door to the north. Go east and then north.
Just,
Right, that one. Yeah.
I did not run ahead with everybody. I'm just
Just
trying to
mix the flavors.
Yeah.
Group move.
Go check your track.
Oh,
Well, you're the one that takes it.
Where are my notes? All right.
Apparently we're all moving this way.
Yep.
I'm gonna check.
It's hard to collaborate our movements when all we can do is pantomime.
Yeah, really.
See, I think, yeah, Sadie, you should have control of Loki's token, but I moved it for you that time.
Oh, I didn't realize Loki had a
Sit on your shoulder.
It was on top of yours, so.
Can I check for traps?
Sure, yeah, make a perception check.
Fourteen plus 4.
18.
Yeah, the door seems to be pretty frequently used. It doesn't even appear to be locked. It looks like a lot of traffic goes this way. So, probably no traps from what you can tell.
Let's go in. Does Rin have Devil's Sight 2, or
What's that?
does Rin not have Devil's Sight 2?
Mm-mm.
No, Rin hasn't taken that invocation, so.
I haven't, but I should.
Yeah. Yeah, you open the door, and ahead of you, you see a chamber. Similarly, the edges of the room are still sort of coated in this strange glass-like substance. Behind some of the glass, it's just cloudy enough that it is a little hard to make out all the details, but you can see that there are paintings of all sorts hanging on these walls, and in the center of the room there are a number of shelves of art books and various things like that. This appears to have been the arts collection at the library. It's been a little bit less disturbed than the previous room. More of the shelves are upright. And it seems like there are a couple of spots where paintings were taken off of the walls before the glass could engulf them. There are just a few blank spaces, but other than that, there are a few works of sculpture scattered throughout the room. One that it appears to be sort of a very stylized sculpture of a spider.
Do any of these sculptures look like they could be expensive?
Probably, yeah. They look like they could have some value.
Can I look over the statues?
Sure.
I think the real question
I think
she's
I'm
asking
gonna
is, can you shove
Pull
them
out
back
my
in
little
the
sketchbook and just like, wow, cool, and start like doodling little sketches of these
Yeah.
of the sculptures in particular.
Yeah.
Maybe a couple of paintings.
Yeah, this stylized sculpture of a spider is probably about like a bust size. It probably
So
it's made of yeah, it would fit. It's
it's
labeled like it's
gonna be
made
like, you done yet? Cause yeah.
it's made of some kind of like sparkling, glittering obsidian. And
Ooh.
it's labeled that it is thought to be very old, and it's thought to be of drow craftsmanship.
Is it lawful?
Huh?
Can just see if it's lawful or whatever.
Oh, Lolth.
Lawful.
Yeah. It's just a spider. It doesn't have like usually when Lolth is depicted with like sort of being like the spider version of a centaur.
Okay.
So is this one like?
It's a spider.
Are the other ones like? Does it look like they have not touched this one? Because like if you already like spiders, do they move any of the other statues but not move this one?
Yeah. Let's see. Tamati, if you could make a history check for me, you might know a little bit about Duergar.
Ooh.
I do know a little bit about Duergar. History? Let's see, -1, 17.
Yeah, so in your time traveling with dwarves, you heard some of the legends of Duergar, that originally House Duergar was a clan of dwarves at some point in the long distant past, that they ended up deep in the Underdark after a series of betrayals. There are a dozen different stories for how and why they got down there. But they were sort of banished to the Underdark, where they became kind of like the Underdark equivalent of regular dwarves, the way that drow, they're commonly called the Grey Dwarves because of their gray, stony skin. And they do have an affinity for spiders, so even though they hate drow and pretty much everyone that isn't Duergar, they may have found this appealing enough to keep it around. If like it looks like a few of the things that were removed, there's a pedestal where at least one larger sculpture probably stood for a while that has been removed at some point. But yeah, the spider sculpture does look like it would probably be pretty valuable.
How many statues are in this? Is it just the one spider statue, or?
That's the only statue you'd really be able to. That'd be small enough for you to pick up and take with you.
So Mouse is gonna grab it and put it in her.
Yeah, there are a couple other statues. One or two of them are fairly abstract, and you're not entirely sure what they represent. One of them, at least, is still labeled. The plate has fallen off from the other one and been lost to time at some point. But the one that still has a plate is labeled as being of probably human craftsmanship, and that it was found and recovered from the, trying to think of the phrasing, like the lair, like the temple of an obscure cult to one of the darker gods at some point in history. You're not sure what it's meant to represent. And there is one statue that you recognize. You've seen reproductions of, and you imagine looking at it that this is also a reproduction, because the original is thought to be lost somewhere in the sort of the wildernesses of Chiroka in between cities. There is a very famous statue of one of the great orc leaders. The original is thought to be much larger than this one. This one is about life size.
Do you see any? In this room?
See any what?
Oh, never mind. I just have to move. I couldn't see it on the map because I was in the wrong place.
Yeah.
Should we hit the right first or straight? That's a room on the right, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
The footsteps, the only footsteps you really see in here, there are a few that lead straight up to the north, but most of them seem to go off to the right. And there's no evidence that you can see that really any significant number of people have ever gone into the chamber to the left.
Like up to the left? Yeah.
Oh.
Yes.
Should we check that out since there's good stuff in there that no one goes in ever?
It could be interesting, yes.
Let's do it.
I should probably be moving Vendra with you guys. Trying to juggle several different things.
You need me to move her? I can control her too. I already got 3 others.
Yeah.
Let's say attach to me.
Until the fight.
Yeah.
Okay. Are there any buttons on this door?
No, the door is dusty and disused. No mechanisms or anything really other than just...
Ooh, no, chat.
There's no easy way to open it.
Want to try?
You said there's no trap, right?
There was no trap on the last door, you know, without checking here, but...
Yeah, good one.
They're gonna take it for traps. 19 plus 22.
Yeah, it doesn't appear to be trapped. It just seems like people just... Again, it's not even locked. It just doesn't seem like anyone has come through here. At least not recently.
We go ahead.
Yeah, beyond the door, you are immediately unsettled as you
Oh, dear.
walk in because you look around and floating near the walls, there are a number of these glassy orbs made of the same sort of slightly cloudy, glassy material. And inside each one of these orbs floats in some kind of faintly glowing fluid a brain.
Oh.
There are probably, if you had to guess, there have to be close to 100 brains in here in various orbs at least. And yeah, they're just kind of floating in this faintly glowing fluid. And the orbs themselves are also just floating. They don't seem to be suspended by anything. They're just kind of staying where they're at.
Back it up. Back it up.
Can Mouse try to like use her mage hand to grab one?
Sure.
She's like, head to my collection. I already have one green brain.
Hey, everyone.
Oh, geez. I hate the state of that green brain right now.
So you reach over with your mage hand and use it to just kind of pull one of the orbs closer. And as it moves, you are pretty certain that you see like some of the little ganglia that are dangling from the brain twitch a little bit.
Oh,
Alive!
You, but we're all
You just hit a tripwire. Oh.
I just back out of the room. Just like, nope.
But there's no other effect. It drifts closer to you, and you're...
Boop. Oh man.
Start backing out of the room,
Yeah.
like, let's go somewhere else.
Brain review.
Can I like check it for anything? Can I like
What
inspect
do you-
it? I just want to see like if it's gonna zap me if I try to grab it or do some damage or.
Yeah,
She
there's...
wants to keep the brain.
I want one. It looks like a great souvenir.
there's,
Who has a brain in a bubble? I mean,
there's no real evidence of anything that you would be able to tell. Like, it just looks like this sort of glassy orb full of some kind of fluid that is faintly magnifying the view beyond it with a brain floating in the middle of it. So
Well, maybe I need to learn more before touching it. Then.
what's this door to the north of us back in that other room look like? Does it look like people go in there very often?
it looks like a few people have walked in, but it has not been very frequently used. Pardon.
Point. What about this one? Maybe it's less horrific.
Do you want to open that door?
Sure. Let's open that door. Since
Yeah,
we're
let's see what's
springing all the traps, let's do it.
Oh, Tamati, I can't hear. Daniel, I can't hear you. Audio again.
Ah!
I thought you were just pantomiming really well.
I can still hear Daniel.
I hear you,
I
Daniel.
can hear Daniel.
You can? My microphone's
no.
muted. Is this better? This better? Better? No? No better?
I mean, we can hear you, but
Oh, hang
That's
on.
weird. It's weird because it even shows up on my the Discord, but the actual audio.
so weird.
So bizarre.
And how about now? Can you hear me now?
Yay!
All right.
Ah! Okay.
I thought you were just really playing up the whole pantomime
Well,
thing.
it's really funny because
You're
my
doing so good.
microphone was muted, so I couldn't. And then I'm like, yeah, can you hear me now? You're like, no, I still can't hear. Okay. So glad we're
so
settled
this
for all this.
Yeah, this room does have a thin layer of the glassy substance around the edges as well. It appears to be just like these very, very thick volumes line the walls, and although the glass is here, it hasn't quite engulfed them. Like, most of the books are still standing free. You could pull them out. They're these very thick, like maybe 3-inch thick volumes each. And they are just, they're labeled with the names of various like newspapers and other like private letters, that sort of thing.
Interesting.
This appears to have been like the what would be considered the serials collections, where like any kind of regular news was collected into books every few years, that sort of thing.
Okay. So, question is, this glass stuff kind of like coming down from the ceiling, or like just in patches, or?
Wherever you see it, it can pretty much completely coats the walls, and it kind of goes out, it curves out onto the ceiling and onto the floor before it just kind of proceeds away.
Okay.
I was really hoping it was going to be Duragar related. And I'm like, yeah, no, you said Scream's Illithid, so no, anyway.
Yeah.
And back out the door. I'm like looking at all these books going, ah.
Books, thick books.
Yeah.
Books
Everyone
that are
else-
boring and terror all around us.
It's like everyone else is freaked out by the brains, Tamati is freaked out by the thick books.
That's more than I've read in my lifetime. Just one of the books.
I will be back. Sorry, I have to jump away for a second.
So good. I'm intrigued and terrified by those brains.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mind flayers and floating brains. Ooh.
Because I'm like thinking back on Critical Role when they fought the Elfheads, and I know it's not going to be anything like that encounter. But they had these little brain monsters that run around, and if you don't like succeed on a Wisdom save throw, they basically destroy you. And so it's like,
Yeah.
I'm in trouble.
They sap your intelligence and you die that way.
I'm gonna die. Again.
I want to die. There are no clerics.
I am the cleric. That's the scary thing.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't even have what's it called yet? Revivify. That comes at like second level. I'm gonna die.
I thought it was third.
Is it third? Don't tell me
I think
that.
it's third. Sorry.
Dang it.
Yeah, that's third level.
There is no Revivify in the Shadowed Archive.
I'm gonna die! Your brain monster's gonna suck my brains out. And I don't have anything exciting. I have Charm Person, Disguise Self, and Protect and Detect Good and Evil. I haven't had a chance to change him out yet.
Oh man.
I'm gonna die. I have cosmic powers that I can't use.
So did you guys just get a really green sheet for the green screen?
No, that's an actual green screen that he...
Nice.
Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that.
Just screaming and terrifying in pain and silence.
In the screams of silence.
Yeah, you do note that if the years given on these collected serials are correct, that these were all compiled at least 3,000-4,000 years ago at the latest.
Wow.
Well,
Vindra said
How
she
is
wasn't
that-
entirely certain of the date of the shatter that actually caused Gate to have all these changes, but it was a very long time ago, so you imagine it was probably around the latest date you see here.
yeah.
Sweet. Well, as much as I love
Here,
books,
I'm gonna grab the oldest one and hand it over to Mouse, because that might be useful information for people in Gate.
Okay.
Like, these are the things that were happening right around the time that the shattering happened. I don't know, just say, here, can you put that in the bag of the thing?
Okay.
Just go along the shelves.
I'm just over here rolling my eyes like, of all the things you could put in that bag, you put a book. Okay, well, unless we want to go back to the brain door. Should we shut the brain door?
Do this
Oh,
way.
that's a good idea.
Should probably
Let's
shut
shut
the
the
brain
doors
door.
behind us.
Yeah.
I'm gonna run back and shut all the doors.
Okay. Just a second here.
Just because I'm worried of what might happen.
Alright, going to head through this door now. Okay. So this relatively small chamber is it looks like there are still some remnants of the glassy coatings on the walls, but most of it has been chipped away and cleared out of here. And this room is pretty comfortable. It looks like it has some well-maintained furniture in it and a couple of tables to place books on. It's basically a small reading room. It just generally looks to be a little better kept than what you've seen so far.
Are the tracks going more in one direction, or?
The tracks going to the north and to the east are much more commonly, like, it looks like they're more heavily worn in. Going south, there are a few. It's pretty light, though.
Do we want to check the less traveled way first? Make sure there's no more brains.
Sure.
And anyone feel free to.
I have no idea that's the problem.
Yeah, this door actually, it doesn't seem to be physically locked, but it is sealed by some means. It doesn't appear to be locked, but if you try to push it open, it just doesn't even budge. It doesn't so much as rattle.
Oh, you rocked off.
Smash it open!
We like inspect it from
Inspect it for what?
magic.
Yeah, you can make an Arcana check to see.
Can I assist?
Yeah.
So you get advantage on that.
15.
What's your Arcana?
Plus 4.
So is mine. So you can just take it.
So 20.
Yeah.
20.
It seems to be like there is some sort of magic that is holding it closed. Not anything you're familiar with, though.
We want to try and smash it open.
I mean, could.
You try the other doors first.
Okay.
We just don't know what's on the other side of said door.
Well, what does it
Yeah.
do?
I was muted. Can I sense anything beyond the door with my blind sight?
Yeah, you can tell there's something moving around a little bit beyond that door.
There's something.
Yeah, it's a humanoid figure. You're not sure what it is exactly. But...
We can come back to it. Worst case scenario.
Sure. Okay, which way we're going then instead?
Checking on the lesser resistance first.
Sure. Everybody like start just nudging on doors and see if any of them are locked.
Right.
Yeah, neither of the other two doors are locked. They're...
Dang it. Defeats my whole plan.
Go. We go in.
Do the north one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Welcome.
So this is another large library hall that has a significant amount of that glassy substance thickly lining the walls, completely engulfing most of the outer shelves. The inner bookshelves, from what you're seeing, it looks like these are all very, very old histories and that sort of thing. This was the histories, biographies. This was probably the historical collection.
I'll be right back, guys. Just a minute.
Cool.
Roll my eyes some more.
Yeah. Yeah, if it's all pretty heavily encased, then I think it's just kind of like
Yeah. And
next.
we'll have plenty of time to like search afterwards.
Mm.
Unless something like blows up and dies.
Unless we end up running for our lives.
So we're gonna go back to the other door then?
Yeah.
It's over here. Oh, there's a hall way down here too.
Oh, there's a hall through the history door? History room?
Tamonti still has dark vision, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's another. There's a.
The historical collection kind of curves around.
That's cool.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. Those of you with higher perception do occasionally hear faint, like, rustling noises from some of the shelves. You kind of imagine, as old as a building like this is, maybe some of the bookshelves have just been infested with some kind of pests or something like that.
That's
Quote unquote.
You do see like a few.
Face hugger.
Like, you do occasionally see some small silverfish just like scuttling across the floor here and there. They're insects, kind of. They like eat the bindings of books and that kind of thing. They eat adhesive out of book bindings.
Well, I'm actually a little curious. Could Jesse kind of just do a quick glimpse around, see if there's anything like on like the chromatic dragons or like that history we read or something?
Or the shards?
Yeah, or the shards. Just
Sure, you'd need to make an investigation check for that. And you know what? If I bring Vindra actually over to you, she might assist with that.
Oh.
In fact, maybe it might be better. What's your investigation?
this to you.
It may be better if you assist her with it.
Yeah. I'll
Yeah.
She has a +8 to investigation, so.
Oh yeah, go Vindra.
Because, you know, she is a cop who specializes in.
Oh, right.
I kind of just write down like keywords and like hand it to her. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
She looks over at them kind of curiously and begins to thumb through some of the shelves, looking around. And let's see, that's a total of 25.
Oh yeah, well, mine's like 13.
Yeah. So she
Very good.
yeah, she kind of thumbs through books, walks through. You do, as you're following her and kind of looking yourself as well, you see at one point she does kind of jump a little bit as one of the books just flies away. Like the book like flaps away from the shelf and like flies up to a higher shelf. She just, like, I have the suspicion that some of these books may be slightly magical.
They're like,
Yeah, she's speaking
Sorry,
through
what? I
silence, I
can't hear
guess.
you, Vindra.
Yeah. She's talking to herself, kind of realizes that no one else is hearing her, and just kind of like.
oh, dude. Okay.
Let's see. She finds. I'm trying to figure out what she finds here. So you were looking for information on the catastrophic dragons and what
Or
else? Or the shards. Okay. Yeah, she finds a very old book that appears to have some information about the catastrophic dragons.
Ooh.
And it uses a number of, like, the dialect it's in is pretty archaic to begin with, and it uses some names that you're not super familiar with. in terms that you're not super familiar with, but repeats some of what you've learned previously about the catastrophic dragons. That what's that?
The proto-sanct.
Yeah, the proto-sanct is mentioned here, and there is some discussion of the proto-sanct itself here as well, and some of the events surrounding the apparent destruction of the proto-sanct at the hands of about the only familiar name you're really seeing here is the name of Veridane. And Veridane is the chaotic evil god of greed and destruction. And occasionally cults to Veridane will pop up, but even among the very evil, Veridane is generally kind of regarded as one of the gods that nobody really wants to associate with. But there's some discussion of what the proto-sanct is or was, and it's pretty dense. You imagine it to really get much out of this book, you'll probably have to just take it with you and look at it in more depth later.
I'll give like a thumbs up and kind of just bag of holding.
Okay.
I tapped your sleeve on the. I can read it later.
Yeah. Let's see if you I guess just for now put it in your inventory with like the title just Tome of the Catastrophic Dragons. That's good enough.
Is that a promise or a challenge?
I wonder if I'm gonna have to go take him out,
I was wondering.
or if he'd let you take him out. I don't know.
I mean, I can try,
Yeah.
and I'm still connected, so I can keep going.
Yeah.
I
I will go try.
All right. Thank
You
you.
guys ever feel like there's like the weakest?
Natural.
Natural 20? Oh yeah, good luck with that.
So I got a 21. We'll see how this.
What was that for?
Animal handling.
Animal handling.
Hopefully he'll allow it to happen. Yeah.
Is the door down here kind of sealed off too?
No, that one's open.
Oh, cool. Just do run into a wall.
What's that?
Just do run into a wall and come out.
Oh.
How did you do that?
I broke physics. Okay. I'm not okay with this.
It shouldn't have locked you in there. That's weird.
You crossed the line, now you must pay.
We got trapped in the glass.
Alright, do we want to
After a
open the
little
door?
bit of coaxing.
Yeah.
How does this door look?
It looks like it is. There's a little more traffic through this door than some of the ones you've seen. It doesn't appear to be sealed or anything. It looks like it's unlocked. And
We go in.
Let's do it.
is that the plan?
We go in.
All right. So you open up this door into what appears to be a small lecture hall. There's a small elevated stage that is along the upper left corner there, and there are just sort of rows of seating. It also looks like the glassy substance has been removed from this room, and it looks like this is a place where people would come to hear a speaker or that sort of thing. It doesn't look like it gets a whole lot of use these days, but it has enough traffic that you have to imagine that somebody has been delivering some speeches to people here from time to time.
Are there books in this room too, or is it
There are no books here, no. It's
more just like seats?
seats in the stage and just some fixtures for torches to be set in or that sort of thing along the walls and along the stage. But
Top, left, or bottom?
So I would say bottom is probably where we haven't been yet.
yeah, just from your general sense of place, you would say the top door just leads back out into the historical collections, and the left door just leads back to that reading room.
Sweet.
How does this door look?
It's also unsealed. Looks like it's reasonably frequently used.
Hit the door, Tomato.
And this leads into a small room full of some more bookshelves, and some of the glass has been chipped away around the west side of the room, but it looks like that's kind of a work in progress.
When you say chip, you mean like literally chipping? Like there's chip marks?
Yeah, it looks like it is like somebody's been chiseling at it. And the bookshelves here that are in the center of the room, it looks like this was a natural sciences collection.
Ooh. Could I, including plants?
Yes, actually.
Could I see if there's any like poisons or other things?
Yeah, make an investigation check.
And
Or ask Vindra to help you, or...
I got it in right. Alchemy / poison.
I'd be curious if they were trying to get any book that would like
Oh yeah,
use
yeah.
the body parts or stuff from the spiders.
What now?
Yeah, like seeing what they were using it for.
Oh yeah. What kind of books are being chipped away at?
It looks like it's just kind of generally along the walls where the shelves have been engulfed. It looks like the process, they're probably just going around the whole room, and it just started here.
It's not like
Yeah, it's not like they're going for one specific book or anything. It's just
plants to conquer the world. Technology.
let's see. I'll just have Vindra also look for information on the cave fissures while she's doing this anyway. Yeah, that's 23. So yeah, she finds some books about the cave fissures and the ecology of some of these creatures. And it looks like cave fissures are pretty commonly farmed for their alcoholic blood. They're farmed because their meat is edible and can be used, and they breed quickly enough and reproduce and cycle through generations and grow quickly enough. that they can be very efficiently farmed in a pretty small space and still produce quite a lot of food and drink. And they also, their webbing could be harvested to make very strong rope, like the filament could be made into rope or into fabric. And so it's, especially in the Underdark, it's very common for cave fishers to be farmed wherever possible. As for the information about poisons, Vindra does turn up a very thin volume on some rare poisons that looks like it looks like it has some formulas in it, but it will probably it's written in some kind of code, like an alchemical code. It'll need to be decoded before you can use anything in it, because
I'm an alchemist itself.
yeah, the alchemists who
you need decoder.
yeah, like the alchemists who wrote this kind of thing just didn't want it to be easy for any old, you know, like Tom, Dick, or Sauron to be able to come in and like and just.
I understood that reference.
I get that one.
Yeah.
You are not worthy.
Yeah, to just, you know, come in and be like, here's a book of poisons you can easily make in like in your own kitchen. Like it was just the kind of information that nobody really wanted it to be super easily accessible to someone that didn't have the requisite education. So it'll just take you a little time to work out.
Like alchemical poison.
Yeah, just like alchemical poisons book encrypted, I guess. I don't know.
Now that a cop helped me find a book of poisons, we can keep going.
Yeah.
Comparing what, 3 things of contraband poison?
Yeah. Like, as Vindra hands you the book, she kind of raises one eyebrow, but then winks, and it's just like, you know, mouths something. You're not a lip reader exactly, but you get the impression it was something just like, be careful with this. Like, don't do anything stupid. She pulls out a notebook and very quickly writes out a note and shows it to you, and it just says, "Don't do anything Garen will have to arrest you for."
Just a quick sketch of her.
It's like a little 3-panel comic that's just her. Like,
Can I not hear Daniel for some reason?
Probably.
Oh no, it wasn't me this time.
Good gracious! Okay, hang on. I'll try this again.
There, now we can hear everyone.
Ready? Ready? I don't remember how to do this. Hang on. Yeah, there we go.
I'm gonna roll the giant d20 to see if he'll succeed at that. That's a natural one. Nope.
And I'm back.
Ah, there it is.
Can everybody hear me now? Everybody get me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can hear ya.
So the door to the left has very little traffic, and door to the south looks like it's used more frequently.
Go to the right, then goes back into the Hall of
then
Wonders.
back into the historical collections.
That's what Okay.
The Cave of Wonders. You'll find a magic lamp in there.
It's like 3 wishes? Oh, sure, more wishes. Okay.
Yeah, you'll find another member of the Queen's family in that lamp.
Yeah,
It's true, we've already got one wish.
Well,
So.
family reunion! Learning so much about my family.
Yes.
I think left.
Okay, let's go left.
Yeah, the left door is
Yay!
sealed.
Dang it, I knew it was the same room.
Ah,
Same room.
yep.
I pantomime to Zafine if she can like sense anything through the door.
Yeah.
Yeah, she
Can I
can
sense anything through the
still
door?
sense faintly the movement of a humanoid figure
Right,
Is it
inside.
sealed?
It's just.
It's the same room?
It's the same
Yeah.
room.
Oh.
Okay, in that case, we don't go that way.
Not right now, anyway.
So far, there's 2 doors leading in. I'm guessing there's probably a third.
Headed to the south now?
Yeah.
Alright, this pretty small room is, it's for a room this size. It like there's been no effort to remove the glassy substance from the walls, but it looks like this was the law collection, various books of law from all over the world. And
Are those 2 doors down the hall?
all of the doors are fairly commonly used from the look of it.
We're closest to the right one.
Is it right? Go back
To that one.
into the hall.
Yeah, let's crack open the right one. CC. I have a feeling it might go to the hallway again.
What about the one down here? Into that room. Again. This is just another entrance into this room over here.
So going to the left?
The left door has pretty common traffic through it and is not sealed, so
Oh.
Let's do it.
so this leads you back into what appears to be the southern half of the first room you came into after you dealt with the cave pushers. This is
I
the,
just made a full loop.
Which section is this again?
this appears to have just been like the general collections that just had all kinds of otherwise uncategorized books.
That's where we first saw the
this
elephant
is-
glass.
Yeah. The sort of sounds of scuttling are a little louder in this part of the room, and there are a couple of fallen bookshelves that have big piles of books.
Let's look for books.
That door to your north is sealed, and Zafine senses the same movement beyond it.
That is the thing. Did we go through this? There's like this south one down here. Do we think it's just that one that's looping all the way around still?
Oh, yeah.
There's another door down here?
Yeah, back in the little
Back
room.
in the law room.
Oh,
The law room, there was a south one.
I see. Back here.
Sure, let's open that door.
Leave no door unopened.
Yeah.
This is how we get into trouble. Here we go.
So,
The last door.
as you pass in here, you can see that the glass is very thick in a lot of areas here, and it looks like, from what you can tell of what has survived engulfed by the glass, it looks like that there were special collections here, but also along the walls there are some chambers formed of that glass, like little domes that appear to have been some kind of prison, essentially.
Oh. Are they vacant prisons?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, can we look around and see if there's anybody in them right now?
Yeah, the ones you can see from where you're standing are empty, but it's your vision only goes so far in the darkness.
Where'd everyone go?
We went to the south door from the law room.
Alright, I'm gonna move ahead.
Don't move too far. You're not in Pass Without Trace anymore.
I'm sneaky.
Or silence.
That's what I'm intending to do, just kind of moving the token while everyone catches up.
Along the far eastern wall, you do see that one of the cells is occupied. There is
Oh,
there's a Durgar in it that he's wearing pretty heavy armor of some kind. He's very disheveled, has like a long, just sort of like ratty, greasy beard, long, ratty, greasy hair. He's one of his eyes, he has a big scar across, and the eye doesn't appear to work anymore. It's just flat white, while the other eye is dark, and he's just kind of leaning against one of the back walls, sitting down. He looks up faintly, kind of gives you a curious look as you come in, and just goes back to looking down at the ground.
Or not any sort of surprise or like, get me out?
Not immediately.
He speaks Dwarvish.
Everybody, apparently. Sorry, I was just listening to one of the last episodes where where we got the special brews, and Adrienne speaks to me in Dwarvish, and like everybody knows Dwarvish, so it's like, yeah.
You have a well-spoken party.
Yeah, he does look a little curious and a little surprised to see you. Tamati, from what you know of Durgar, they tend to be very, very xenophobic. They don't like anyone but Durgar generally. The ones who actually can get along with other races tend to get exiled for getting too friendly, because Durgar are inherently suspicious of everybody else. They are afraid of betrayal from every corner. The fact that he doesn't seem like upset by you actually seems a little unusual as far as Durgar go, from what you know of them.
Interesting. Okay. I think I will. I want to go talk to him.
Okay.
I'm not sure what I'm going to say, but you know.
I'm gonna make sure I stand 25 feet away from the Durgar.
Yeah.
So they can have a little conversation.
So he says on the far
So,
oh, he has a token. I did not see that.
yes, he does.
So
I'm like,
where
yeah,
is
I don't see
silent?
it. Oh,
he was out of your range of
it
vision.
was just barely out of range.
I will stand. Oh, nope. Need to move now.
Yeah,
I will stand here.
as you
This should
approach,
be out of the way.
he looks up, and in fairly thickly accented common, he says, "You are from the surface. Nobody looks like you down here."
Nobody looks like you up there, so.
All the better for them. Who are you?
My name is Tamati. We've kind of got trapped down here chasing a Barghest. And we're trying to find a way out because the way we got in collapsed behind us.
Well, as you might be able to see, I am not the man to ask to tell you about ways out.
Yeah, what's your story? Why are you locked up?
Business. Well, not accepting business as usual, really.
Fair enough.
There is a Durgar city near here, Rutka. Noble family, the Deep Fires. Very powerful people. Killed one of the younger daughters. They were not happy about it. Vor's Deepfire was her name. She was a piece of work, deserved it.
I look back at everyone like, I like this guy.
No one cared what she did but me. Vor's... Even we don't like to speak of these things. Vor's liked children a little too much.
I agree. Deserved it.
She needed to die. I made it happen. I'm in here now.
Sounds like a rough go. What can you tell us about like the movings of this area? I guess you may or may not see much in this room.
Before we arrived here, it used to be collections of rare items, very fragile, very old artifacts. Most of them destroyed long before we arrived. You are from the surface, you know nothing of this place.
I kind of point at Vindra a little bit and be like, she has said that this is like, they call it the Shattered Archives. None of us are really from Gate, so we know a little bit, basically what she told us about it. Other than that, yeah, not much.
I know nothing of surface things. This place was, for a very long time, a prison for my people. The Illithids held us here, enslaved us, until Ugresh. Ugresh came out of nowhere, freed us. To hear him tell it for no reason, not sure I believe it. No mind flayers anymore. Ugresh killed all of them.
Yay! As I hear the echo just a little too loud.
You've probably been looking around a couple of hours all told.
Oh, we don't have silence anymore, by the way, guys.
Okay.
Yeah, you've probably been poking around for a while.
We lost silence probably about an hour and a half ago.
Yeah.
We've been huddling
It's
for
only 10
nothing.
minutes. I went and looked it up because I wasn't sure how long it lasted.
Yeah.
Glad I did.
Good call.
So you say there's no mind flayers left, or aphids. There is one room over here that is locked. Do you know anything about that room or who would be in there?
That is where Ugresh stays. And he opens the door if he has need of you.
Can I whisper to Martin a message? So I'm just gonna be like, we could deal with him. We'll let him out. I'm willing to undo him if he helps us find the surface.
Yeah. If we let you out, would you be willing to help us find the surface and get out of here?
The way to surface is not easy. Have to pass through Hrutka, most likely.
But you would know.
Rutka's the one in the sealed room.
It's the Duragar city.
Hrutka is the Durgar city near here. We established it after Ugresh freed us.
But you would know a safe way past the city or through the city, right? I mean,
There is no safe way through any Durgar city, my friend.
Sorry, Had a flashback to Star Wars. Eh, you're a little too small if we take this off of you. Okay, I'm gonna go back to everybody. We're like, are we gonna let him out? I mean,
Just be like, so you don't want to help us? Okay, thanks, bye. Maybe he'll change his mind.
say he wasn't gonna help us. He says there's no safe way through the city, so.
So we should just go back and start using things to get through the rock.
Digging through. I think I'd rather take my chances with the Durgar.
I think I would too.
My heavy plot armor can try that.
It's true. Okay, well, I mean, if nothing else, we can get him loose.
He can't hear exactly what you're saying since he went back over and he doesn't have hearing that strong, but he just kind of calls out to all of you. He says, nobody leaves here unless Ugresh wants them to. Once you're here until he says you go.
Now, Ugresh is the one. Who's the one in the sealed room?
Ugresh.
Okay. Okay. Just making sure I've got my names straight.
Okay, well, go back over to him. Like, can you get us an audience with Ugresh? I mean, he may not be as receptive to us.
Ugresh is probably listening to this conversation. If he wants him to come in, you will unlock the doors. If he does not, doors stay shut. And if I know one thing about Ugresh, he is curious. He wonders why you are here.
Yeah, that's good. Curiosity is a good thing. Sometimes.
If you're looking to let me out, I would like to come out of here. It's not very comfortable.
I'll take you up on that.
Yeah.
If not, that's fine. You'll probably stab me in the back in an hour anyway.
Mouse is gonna just walk up to him and be like, I let you out, you help us, yes?
I'll do what I can, as long as all of us are alive, which may not be very long time.
You're an optimistic one, aren't you?
I've already been dead once. It's not that bad.
Optimistic. What is this word? It sounds disgusting.
It is, trust me.
What is this witchcraft?
Okay, Mouse is gonna try to let him
Okay. The way that these sort of bubble-like cells are set up, it's almost like there's this strange membrane that is in place that is, like, you can hear sound through it, but it doesn't have any kind of traditional lock as you would be familiar with it.
Somebody's good old hammer smash.
Tell him
You can
to
certainly
duck
try.
and cover his head.
Take it. Always worries me when you
If
say
you can
that.
chisel through it, it seems like it, worth a shot.
And the Duergar kind of looks around and says, this was a mind flayer construction. Membrane is one way. They push you through. Only way you get back out is with psychic pulse.
Psychic pulse.
Yeah, I got nothing. Sorry.
Other Duergar could let me out, but maybe difficult for anyone but other Durgar or Ugrash to let me out.
Sweet. Well,
If you want to try to break it down, by all means. I've been chipping away at the walls.
I'm looking to see if I have a psychic spell on here.
Yeah.
Should we go see if there's any tools that they were using to like chip off the stuff on the?
Just take special tools.
Or one of those floating brains.
yeah, crack the brain on it.
Yeah.
Does he know anything?
Just touch it to the bubble, see if it makes a pulse.
Maybe they are the keys. You have to find the right brain for the right bubble.
Yeah, but you should try it. I mean, you've been chipping through it on the walls.
Well, let's see.
I'm just worried about my hammer
So
going
he
into
said
it and not
works-
coming back out.
It's like one way, right? You can get in, but you can't get out.
That's the idea, yeah.
So nobody put their body parts in
You
there.
mentioned him.
Right.
Yeah, if I could get in, I could probably maybe dimension door him out.
Ooh. There you go.
At the same time, I mean, you'd think
Might
that
have
they,
lost that if it,
yeah, they
if
think
it
they would
works
think
on
of that.
psychic pulses.
You might not have much luck breaking down walls. I've been chipping away at the other ones with soul knives. Psionic.
Soul.
Well, let's go talk to Ugarish. Maybe he'll let you out. It's either that or we're all stuck here anyway, so.
Yes, we'll ask him.
Is Ugra a Durgar?
No, Ugrash looks like an orc. You'd have to be stupid to believe that's what he is. But that's what he chooses to look like.
Has he
Xerophone.
taken other forms in the past?
Maybe. I don't watch what he does in his free time. Otherwise engaged.
You know what those floating glass with the brains in were?
He looks kind of viscerally disgusted for a moment, and he says, You have been into the brain library. Mind flayers harvested brains, kept them still living from Durgar. Others sealed them still alive in those orbs.
Ooh.
Kept them around to read their memories, read their knowledge as needed. All of them still alive, all of them in terrible pain.
That's nasty.
I'm sorry. Wait, what are those? The other Durgar?
Yes. Don't know why you're saying sorry to me. I am not in the brain library.
Common cuz. Is it? Yeah, common.
Can't smash him out. Can't brain blast him out. Let's go talk to Ugarish.
Yeah, give it a shot.
Let's pause for a moment. I once again have to run off to the bathroom.
Woohoo, drink break.
No problem.
Both my mugs are empty. It's a bad sign.
Sorry for the baby apocalypse on my camera.
That was awesome.
Man.
So good.
He's just grabbing onto my big iMac and just like standing in front of it, wobbling it back and forth. And like, yes, this is mine.
Hey, Shara, isn't Zafid like?
Now he's in the While he's in the bathroom, I think my kids are still running around upstairs and not going to sleep, so I will be back.
Good call.
Doesn't the fiend have like a psychic attack? Like the
I was just wondering because she has one
like it was
that she has 2 attacks. One does like a sound auditory, but one does psychic damage. It's a psychic damage, so I could try that.
which one is it?
It's my Did He song Brooding Death Cry. I lock eyes with an enemy, I unleash this banshee howl, and it fills them with visions of impending death. Make wisdom saving throw. Yeah. Psychic damage, and is paralyzed on failure. So.
Well, it would
I don't know
either
if I could.
it'd help him or kill him.
Yeah, it's not that tough, but yeah, I feel like it would be like it's psychic, but I don't know how I would direct that towards the cage and him. But we could try it. I mean, it's not crazy damageful. I'd be up for trying that.
Because like if magic that blocks off magic, then your hand will just disappear. And then not, because it's that's not the case. Because if there's like mana magic,
And I'm back.
Okay.
This character's voice, I started out trying to do like sort of a faint Swedish accent, and he just got more and more Russian as time went on.
like, yeah, I keep trying to practice my Russian because the undercommon is the Underdark is kind of like Slavic. You said so, like
yeah. Yeah, like I was trying to make it a little more Scandinavian for the Dordar, and I'm just like, I guess they're just Russian now.
Yeah, now they're Russian.
That's my problem.
So we
All
were-
of my accents like just devolve into either Scottish or Russian eventually. That's
Russian.
It's all good.
Yeah.
Chris was just asking about my brooding death cry because it does psychic damage.
Mhm.
We were thinking that maybe we could try that.
It's worth a try. You might be able to disrupt it. You're not sure.
Yeah.
Try using
What was this guy's name?
You have not asked this guy's name yet.
Oh,
Could we try one thing first?
Oh, just would not try to see if like I can get my mage hand through it to see if magic stops. Like
that's a good idea. See if there's like a magical barrier.
yeah. to see
So
if-
that way, if Rin does Dimension Door in and out, we'll know whether or not magic works in that.
Yeah, it as you reach out with Mage Hand initially passes through the membrane with no real resistance, but as soon as it's on the other side, it just kind of flickers into static and disappears.
Mm.
That would have been bad.
Yeah.
Human testing not advised.
I think we can fit in there.
Yeah, there's some kind of anti-magic field, you can tell that much. It's
Well, sir, I have an ability where I can inflict a psychic attack. I don't know if it will disrupt the field enough for you to get out, or if it might just hurt you. Would you be willing to give that a try? Would that be all right with you?
more exciting than anything else I had planned tonight.
True. All right. Then I will focus on the dome prison and release my brooding death cry.
Okay.
Ooh.
So there is... Zafine emits this loud, kind of horrifying shriek that makes everyone else just feel a little uncomfortable instinctively. And this Durgar has stood up in preparation for this, just in case it works. And there is sort of a visible shockwave that you don't normally see when you use this, as it seems almost like the pressure in the air slows and becomes visible as it approaches. It very, very slightly slows, and there's maybe about 5 seconds before the pressure impacts the membrane, and the membrane flickers away, and this Durgar just basically hurls himself through it, just like rolls into a ball and rolls through.
Yeah!
And passes through safely. And almost
All
no sooner
right.
is he out than the membrane is back up where it was. So.
Woo!
Oh, you made it.
Stands up and kind
That
of
worked.
just brushes himself off. Well, that was interesting. I know the big one's name. Who are you?
I'm Zafine. You are?
I thank you, Zafine. I am Kothgar Colsean. I'll just throw his name in.
Well, I'm
the
glad
chat
that worked,
here.
Kothgar.
I will be honest, I did not expect it to.
It seemed kind of a 50-50 or like 20-80, but here you are.
That is true. Here I am. I do not think I have ever been where I am not. This is not the time for philosophy. Let us go bother Crash.
Oh, yes. I almost got caught up in it like, ooh. Forward.
Do we need to take a short rest, or are we good? We're good?
I think we're good so far. I mean, nobody's taking damage or anything, so.
Yeah.
I have used a spell slot, but
I just worry that since we made that really loud noise that we might not want to stick around.
Yeah.
that's true.
Yeah, we're gonna go talk to the guy in charge, so.
And
Should we, now that we have Kothgar with us, was he just going to lead us outward?
Well, he says we don't leave unless Ugresh lets us leave.
Yeah, but is that like, does he like stand in front of the door and say like, no? You know, like.
I haven't noticed the door to the outside aside from the one we came in.
Kothgar kind of nods up to the door just to the north here. Through that way is elevator to Hrutka. It's the only way out of here as far as I know. Sounds like you made new door on your way in, but I suspect...
Not anymore.
Ugresh will likely not let us go that way and wants to speak to us.
Well, shall we try it then?
Yeah, I was gonna say, let's go talk to him and just see what happens.
And Kothgar goes over to the wall here where there is a small section of bookshelf that he just kind of like pulls away from the wall, that it's not completely engulfed, and he pulls it away to find a locker and reaches in and pulls out a very large, heavy-looking glaive. And, he just hefts it a little bit, and he says, "It's good to see you again, old friend." It's just like
I'm looking over the top.
Oh,
and there's a locker
reunions.
going,
yeah,
anything
straps
else
it
in
around to his back.
Somebody's like, hey, can I see?
He just kind of looks back at you and says, like, "We don't have many prisoners. If there is anything else in here, it belongs to me. There isn't anything else in here, but if there were, it would belong to me."
there? We saved you. Come on. All right, let's go.
Actually, open Kothgar's sheet in case I need it.
Oh, you're gonna need it. That's a locked door. Okay. Turn it on. And we'll go back up here toward Vindra in the middle room.
Oh. Whoa.
Back to the law room.
Yeah, I never moved Vindra older.
Why
She
am I
should have
not
been there through all
moving?
of this.
Oh no.
There we go.
Yeah, Vindra should have been there through all that, but oh well. Didn't move her token.
Moving a token.
What is happening? Why does my map keep moving? Should not move. Anyway.
So Kothgar goes over to the door and just kind of pounds on it. And Ugresh, you have visitors. You're prettier than I am. You might want to talk to them. There doesn't seem to be any reaction. He just kind of shrugs and turns around, leans against the door, and sits down. He might be busy. He'll get to us eventually, probably. If not, we starve to death here. Or Durgar come through here, throw us into prison, kill us all, I don't care.
Is this the door that had the lock on it? Or that was...
Yeah, one of the arcane locks. In the meantime, why don't I tell you a little bit about all of this? So, we heard word through our slavery. We occasionally would hear whispers from somewhere else. Whispers in the mist and in the darkness that other Durgar had broken free of our masters. For long past that point, we had no such luck here. Mind flayers held on to us. Who knows how long? But what little consciousness we could manage was aware that our brothers and sisters somewhere had broken free, but we could not do anything. And eventually, one day we all woke up. Everything was under our control again. I was one of the ones who was there. Some of the younger ones of the city don't remember now, but I was there. We didn't know what had happened. All the mind flayers were dead. Bodies, dark blood sprayed over the walls. And we wandered around, went into the chamber where the elder brain once stayed. And there we found Ugresh, skinny little orc in a robe. Told us that he had been watching for some time. He killed all the mind flayers and the elder brain, and that he had no intentions of taking over our contract as slaves or barring our way. We were free to go, but to come back he may have need of us. We dug our way out of the archive from the restricted collections room, just to the north of the cells. Dug through the stone until we found one of the huge caverns of the Underdark, found the Catacombs. Grown a great deal since then. Some of us still come back here to help Ugrash. Requests that we bring him rare or unusual books if we've found some, conducting raids on others. As far as I can tell, Ugrash has never left this place. He does not ask that we bring him food. I don't think he eats. He just stays in there. And just kind of gestures behind him. Sometimes he comes out into one of the other rooms, browses the books, never leaves the place. Durgard have a hard time with trusting others, with owing debts to others. We don't like it. Ugrash has never asked anything of us, except for the books. Asks for us to bring him books, asks for us to help him break through the glass left by the Mind Flayers, but asks nothing else. Does not give us orders, only asks. Free to say no. I don't think most of us trust him. It's not in our nature. But I will tell you one thing. Feeble, skinny as he may seem, no one kills a Mind Flayer Elder Brain on their own single-handedly. Doesn't happen. Kothgar just kind of looks like he's probably done talking at that point and just kind of closes his eyes, stays sitting there, doesn't really respond to being spoken to for the next few minutes.
Did that start as a short rest?
Yeah, I was gonna say, can we take a short rest while we're just waiting here?
Sure.
Good go.
But yeah, he just kind of sits there, and maybe 20, 30 minutes later, there's a small puff of air as the magical seal on the door behind him breaks.
Oh.
Ooh.
And he opens his eyes. I suppose the doctor will see us now.
Seems like it's our turn.
And the door slowly swings open. Near the center of the room, you can see this very thin, gray-haired, robed orc that is sitting next to what appears to have been some kind of glassy pool structure. This was probably where the Elder Brain actually lived when there were Mind Flayers here. And the orc is sitting at a desk in the center of this clear glassy structure, and he's looking over some very thick book, and he glances up at all of you and smiles. Ah. Welcome. I don't entertain guests frequently. What brings you to my library?
Kind of a bit of misfortune, to be honest.
It seemed rather unfortunate. I saw that. You fought some manner of fiend on your way in.
Yeah. That bar guest, yeah, it's Crazy beast, I'll tell you what.
It seemed very desperate. You fought well.
It wasn't the first time we fought it, so.
Consider
Did you
me
see the first
intrigued.
time we fought it?
Kind of looks over at Kothgar and just nods and says, I'm glad they got you out. Seems like the circumstances of your incarceration were unfortunate. And Kothgar just kind of nods and is like, turns to all of you with a knowing look. And he's, that's code for bullshit. And Ugrash just kind of like shakes his head. He's like, I wouldn't put it in such vulgar terms, but yes, it is code for roughly that.
So I'm curious. Kothgar said that you killed the other brain.
I did. And all of the other mind flayers that were here at the time.
How do you pull something like that off? That's amazing.
Well, as Kothgar has correctly surmised, I am not an orc. I am older than I look, which I recognize is saying something. The image with which I choose to present myself is rather elderly, however. Let me ask you something. Are you familiar with the magical creatures known as sigillions?
Oh yeah,
What?
a sigillion.
Oh, snap!
Oh no.
We had some run-ins with them a short time ago.
Yeah.
Once upon a time, I was one of those creatures. Before the Shatter, I was a sigillion living in the books of this library, staying out of the way. And something happened, what I now know as the Shatter. The library was thrust down into the depths of Tyrileth. And everything then was dark and quiet for a time. And the Durgar began to make their way through, examining some of the books. Not long after they arrived, the Illithids arrived, by which time I had consumed enough knowledge from the books of this library to become aware of myself. I was simple, not very intelligent at the time, but the Illithids conducted a number of very unpleasant psionic experiments upon some of their Durgar subjects here. The psionic energy that subsumed all of this place accelerated the growth of my intelligence. I have learned that what kindred call me is a tome grim. A sigillion that has been allowed to grow to intelligence, to self-awareness. And during the course of my studies, I found the name of Ugresh, an orc wizard. an orc wizard of the early Golden Empire. He helped to found many of the systems of organized magical education that are still used today, or likely are used still on the surface. I can't say I'm very aware of the goings-on up there, but he founded those systems ultimately to die trying to protect his knowledge when a peasant revolt broke out. His library was burned to the ground. Something about his story spoke to me. I took this name and this form based on a very old portrait of Ugresh. I stayed out of the way, built up my power, watched the mind flayers at work, until the time came that I suspected I may be able to make a move. Manifested myself physically to them for the first time. Destroyed the Elder Brain, picked off the remaining mind flayers in their confusion, freed the Durgar afterwards. Not that the Elder Brain went down easily, it unfortunately placed a psychic shield around the archive that has locked me in here. I have no way of leaving at this time until such seals are broken. I have spent a couple of thousand years, maybe, trying to work out a way to break the seal. It seems to be beyond me. There are records down here, rare records that I found in the original archives collection, records that have been brought to me by the Durgar after various raids on other societies. I've garnered some impression of the nature of things on the surface. Maybe not the recent history, but at least within a few hundred years. What I have determined is that things happen in cycles. I'm not certain anyone has identified these cycles apart from myself, but the people of Tyrileth have this concept of their beginnings, of recent history and the present, but they've lost sight of what happened in between. Something ensures that history has a threshold to make sure there can be no escape. There was once a book here in the archive, a very ancient one kept in the artifacts collections. It was written in a language that no scholars apparently recognized. It had no translation notes, no indication that anyone had really made any significant headway to uncover its secrets. There were margin notes from a number of individuals who had attempted to translate it. But I spent a great deal of time alone here before the Illithids arrived. After much effort, I was able to decipher it. It was written in an incredibly archaic form of Elvish, so far removed from the modern equivalents. There was barely any common ground there apart from syntax. It described this continent, which surface dwellers call Sereda, at a time when it was apparently called Zyalira, when its oldest city was founded by elves long before any other races arrived here, which of course makes no sense according to the other histories I've read. Sereda is, according to modern histories at least, known to be home to halflings. Gate is its oldest city, and the elves arrived as immigrants after their civil war in Keras El-Atrim. The Durgar, after the fall of the Illithids and the founding of Frutka, raided a drow colony at one point, brought back another ancient book in an unknown language. When I managed a rudimentary understanding of its contents, which took some 77 years, I was able to find a record of Goliaths as the founding race of this continent, which they called Athrati, and of their desperate war with giants for control, a war which they may have lost, if not for the arrival of the Dragonborn, the first other race they had seen, who helped them fight back the giants. These histories are deeply inconsistent one with another. There must be a reason for this. My research leads me to suspect that history happens in cycles. Kindred build civilizations. Eventually, those civilizations are cast down, and something sees to it that the records and memories of it are lost, destroyed, if possible. I want to know why. But in order to learn the answer to that, I will have to find a way beyond these walls. There is information that, no matter what is brought to me, I cannot properly peruse and understand if I am not permitted to leave this place. But there is some form of corruptive influence that wants to keep us from our history, from our histories. Perhaps plural is more appropriate given the nature of these things. If this continent has been founded at least 3 times, once by elves, once by Goliaths, and once by halflings, and all 3 were the only race known to this place until some interlopers arrived from elsewhere, and there are pieces of history going much further back that we have not determined yet. I want to get to the bottom of it.
Don't we have a book written in some
I
weird,
suppose.
like, Elvish?
What's that?
Don't we have a book that's written in some weird Elvish that we pulled from?
Yeah, we have the original book where we read about the catastrophic dragons and the Proto-Sancton, and
Yeah.
I found the second
that
one.
was in archaic Elvish as well.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Gresh says, this is where you come in. You're outsiders. You have stumbled into this place and you have significant strengths and connections on the surface. I would hope that perhaps you may be willing to find a way to free me from this place.
In your research, have you come across any mention of an organization that calls itself the Aegis?
I have.
Do they seem related at all to your pursuit of this cycling history?
I have suspicions, certainly. They're involved to some degree. The Aegis is very old and certainly interlinked with figures of interest throughout history, from what I've been able to gather down here. The true extent of their involvement is difficult to decipher, especially given the resources available to me. However, I have... if you've come into contact with them, you've likely heard their side of the story. They claim that they are protectors of some sort.
Yeah, they're trying to destroy death, whatever that means.
Yes, they would act as if they were the heroic party in that situation, wouldn't they? Death is not the enemy.
No, life continues on in the midst of death.
Death
Death
is
is simply a gate.
Death is a passage. Death is also a person, a being. While the Raven Queen oversees death on Tyrileth as a deity, she's concerned with the transportation of souls to afterlives. Death represents true endings. Though the timescales are vast, true immortality is no longer a construct which exists within our reality. It died with the Protosanct. Although I suspect that perhaps the information that you have of the Protosanct is somewhat limited. Have you heard the term?
Just once.
Well, there's a great deal to talk about. Where to begin? This is complex. Tyrileth has existed for untold billions of years. Some manner of catastrophe set both matter and magic into motion at the very beginning. Magic has its own sort of gravity. It's bound to different worlds in different ways. Sort of background radiation of magic continues to exist throughout the cosmos. Tyrileth's stone cooled on the surface, but beneath its magic loyaled and shifted until it formed the Protosanct. The Protosanct, from my studies, was a vast intelligence, the mind of Tyrileth itself, the brain of this world. It created the first intelligent race that walked this land, known only as the First. The children of the Protosanct were few but powerful. Perhaps it was inevitable that they would destroy their creator, fall to war with one another eventually. One of the first was called Veridane. Veridane became obsessed with power, killed many of his brothers and sisters, and thanks to his machinations, destroyed the Protosanct, burst it completely, destroyed its mind. Though its will was indestructible, it could not affect that. Protosanct's magic remained. Veridane and others of the First absorbed part of that power. The will of the Protosanct bound itself to the wilds of Tyrileth, to the forces of nature. The will of the Protosanct would no longer accept the presence of the First on Tyrileth in the material plane for extended periods of time. It regarded Veridane's betrayal as belonging to them all in the absence of the intelligence that had once tempered it. It saw only enemies in the First, so it expelled them to foreign planes, even those who had opposed Veridane and fought against him. But the First had absorbed such power from the Protosanct's death that they became as gods, essentially. Now empowered, they began to create themselves. Some created their own races, others twisted the creations of other Firsts. Some of the First themselves were killed, either by other First or in rare cases by mortals. Some mortals ascended to godhood as well by one method or another. The gods we now have are made up of a mix of some of the surviving First, and some mortals who achieved apotheosis. The ascended mortals tend to have a bit more capability of returning to the material plane, to appearing to those who still walk the mortal wilds than those of the First. For example, the Raven Queen once was a mortal woman who arranged and sought power by what means the stories vary wildly. She has been more capable, perhaps, of appearing to her subjects than those of the First. The First are barred much more securely. Others who were once mortal included Fo Wei and Jin So. There's a number, Moradin. Many dwarves still worship Moradin. Moradin was once a mortal dwarf. But Even those who were once mortal rarely return, even for brief appearances to the material plane. They have important matters to attend to in their own domains. I understand that there's something of a divine Cold War preventing any single deity or faction of deities from affecting too much direct influence in the mortal plane. Mortal cultures have risen and fallen again over time, from what my research tells me. I have no way of knowing the exact timeline, the number of times that this cycle has continued, how long intelligent life has truly existed here. This current cycle, recorded history, goes as far back as maybe 24,000 years ago, divided into 7 ages. I don't think anyone is quite sure how far back our world's history stretches. It may be an impossible question to answer thanks to this intentional suppression of the information surrounding it. Even the longest-lived elven, even draconic historians could likely have spent their entire lives trying to reconstruct a path to the beginning, never even place more than a few fragments of events before this current cycle. It's what scholars have occasionally called the antiquarian divide. It's a line that marks the furthest points in history that surviving records can pinpoint. It's been theorized that each of our cycles is relatively self-contained in this way, that each cycle had its own frustrating divide. It's almost impossible to make sense of whatever comes before. Elven lifetimes being as long as they are, there are at least elves currently living that must have family trees with names that continue on into the past well before our current cycle, but little is left. Records, writings, journals, lists of names and places, they all dry up around the divide, almost as if something wanted to remove them. But at the death of the Protosanct, that was the introduction of death into our universe. There had been no such concept of endings, of conclusions, permanent conclusions like that up to that point. When Veridane, however he did it, destroyed the Protosanct, it disrupted everything. The Protosanct had been responsible for the stabilization of magic that had permitted true immortality. But after the fall of the Protosanct, even gods cannot live forever. Even gods must eventually be reaped. Death had been born, tremor through the fields of magic. He is true death. He is entropy. He is heat death, true death. Even souls will flicker out eventually. Afterlives aren't infinite as long as gods are not infinite. Death doesn't control what he represents. He simply is the mind attached to an unstoppable force. He is an innocent welded to an ever-looming void that must end all things. He doesn't want it. From what little I can tell, death wants to stop what he represents. Death wants to restore true immortality. He wants to find a future where he does not have to destroy all that is. And he's opposed by the Aegis. They've represented themselves as guardians. Maybe some of their agents even genuinely believe that's what they are. They were originally meant to protect pieces of the Protosanct from falling into the wrong hands. Whatever they really once were, they've been corrupted, co-opted by whatever force wants to destroy everything. From all I can tell, most of the gods aren't even aware of death. In fact, that their own mortality has an expiration date. But there is a force of corruption somewhere in the universe that has learned of it and tends to use it to its own benefit. And as a result, the Aegis have essentially become a doomsday cult, a tool used by whatever force this is to end all life, mortal and divine alike. They claim that the only way to stop death is to starve it, rebuild the proto-sanct or the piece of the proto-sanct that survives and use it to wipe the slate clean. End everything as we know it, hide all of that power away until death itself dies, and then start anew without the cancer that they consider death to be. But the truth of the matter is that there is clearly some darker force behind it.
I believe when we first encountered the first Aegis operative, servant, whatever she would have called herself, I believe I may have had a vision of that possibility, and it is something that I am fully committed to helping that not happen. It seems to be driving our adventures to a degree.
Whatever the Aegis truly stands for, it is not what those at the ground level of their organization believe it to be. There's... So far as I can tell, the Aegis has been led consistently for over 1,000 years by one individual, at least according to the records I have been able to find. The more modern records, perhaps there has been a regime change, but so far as I can tell, the Aegis has been ruled by an elf by the name of Fiercest Cadracel.
We've met him.
Hmm.
Not a pleasant meeting.
Yeah.
I suppose he's still around then.
Oh yes, he's alive and kicking.
How's their butts?
Big bite in the butt. Yeah, seriously.
If you have met Cadracel and survived, it can only be because he wished you to.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Cadracel is dangerous beyond almost anything I could conceive of. Cadracel represents the hand and the voice of whatever wishes to destroy death in the world.
That's fun.
And at about this time, there's a strange sense that the air in the room has stopped moving. That everything just kind of goes very, very silent and still. And Ugresh is motionless. Kothgar is motionless. But the rest of you are moving normally. There's just this stillness and quiet. And out of the shadows steps the shape of Diego Dela.
Oh, I was totally expecting Cadracel.
Catch yourself, catch yourself, catch yourself.
I'm gonna die! Okay. Whew.
And Diego kind of steps forward and sits down at Ugresh's desk, and he looks at all of you and he says,
Hi.
"Well, I suppose my secret is out then. I'd like to introduce myself to all of you officially. I am Death."
Nope.
Whoa.
I'm sorry.
Explains a lot.
Yes, I apologize for the secrecy. It has been a necessity. This is a place that, at least for a few minutes, I'm able to hide myself from the Aegis and from the other forces who would seek my end.
Careful, they can scry on me and Tomas.
They won't be able to scry on you when time isn't moving for you.
How do I learn that?
Oh, it's very simple. Just become an anthropomorphic representation of one of the fundamental forces of the universe.
Sweet, it's like 5 minutes to learn it, right?
Absolutely. Very straightforward.
I'll take it.
So, has the Fiend actually met Diego yet?
No.
I don't know if you have. I
No.
think Diego,
Nope.
I don't.
Yeah, Diego showed up very briefly in the dungeon beneath Wind Mansion. I don't know if he spoke to you during that time or appeared to you. Pardon me.
I know
I
he
think-
spoke to me
Yeah.
after the thing with the Wind Mansion.
Yeah.
Dude, that's trippy.
My first time meeting Diego at
You're
all.
like, hey, this is Diego Taylor. He's dead. What? And you're like, who's what? That what? Huh?
Wait.
Why is there a tiefling here?
Why is there
Is this that person you were talking about?
Yeah. Oh yeah. This is. Wow.
And Diego says, I apologize that there are unfortunately many questions I still cannot answer for you, questions that will have to be answered on your own, but the questions that I can answer, I will.
How do we help you? Defend you?
The Aegis must be stopped. Cadracel must be stopped. Cadracel serves someone. There is no way for even I to know who Cadracel serves, but something far more powerful than he has been pulling the strings from the very beginning of the Aegis, well before that.
You know what they're planning with the Zerafall?
I can't be certain. I suspect that if nothing else, it is simply sowing chaos, forcing me to play my role further, to reap more souls.
The way I could. I think I'm kind of linked to him now. Is there any way that I can track him down or find him?
It may eventually be possible. The degree of power that you currently possess, it would likely be fatal or certainly very dangerous to you to attempt such things. But the catastrophic dragons must not be permitted to return. Whatever it is that Cadracel and the Aegis plan, even if it is only a distraction, if catastrophic dragons return, they will destroy untold thousands, millions of lives. There were 5 of them. Xerophal the Typhoon, the oldest, the most dangerous, likely the instigator of all of their actions on this plane. Chrysalter the Blizzard, Holothrain the Earthquake, after which the mountain range, the crest of Holothrain, is named. Samaris the Tornado, and Ignimbra the Volcano. Wherever and whatever they have become, if they return, the damage will be immense. Xerophal was once a bronze dragon, once a noble creature. He and his companions were some of the brightest creations of Io, the first that created the dragons. They were guardians in the service of the Protosect. They helped to maintain the balance of nature, but after Veridane murdered the Protosect, they did all in their power to stop him. They found him, awash in the power that had fractured the universe. They attacked him. They were easily overpowered, and rather than killing them, Veridane thrust shards into their hearts, imbuing them with incredible elemental power, driving them completely mad. They continued to hate Veridane, but they became great destroyers in their own right. They wreaked havoc on the young worlds. It quickly became apparent in those early days that the first and the others who became gods would be unable to remain on this prime material plane, and as they were exiled, it seemed the catastrophic dragons would reign supreme here. Tiamat lent them her power, tolerating their view of her as a peer rather than a deity. They considered her more a sister than a god, but it was likely that she would have succeeded in causing them to destroy everything if it had not been for Bahamut managing to force and lock them into the elemental chaos, where they have remained since, at least with the exception of Xerophal, who has partially found his way back to this plane. In their time in the elemental chaos, they've grown more and more unstable, physically and mentally. They are bound to places on the prime material plane. If those seals are broken, they will return. It may be impossible to stop Xerophal from being released at this point. And if Xerophal goes free, he may find ways to free his brothers and sisters. Well, Xerofal's seal, fittingly enough for the typhoon, the great storm, from what I can tell, appears to be centered within the far wall.
Biggest storm in history is sitting there. Okay. No history.
The others are yet too distant from the prime material plane for me to be able to locate their seals. I don't have much time left to speak to you. If you have any further questions, ask them now while I...
Where could we find the shards?
The shards... Well, the existing shards, those that were not thrust into the hearts of the catastrophic dragons, are scattered across all of the prime material plane here on Tyrileth. It is. So far as I can tell, there are at least 2 present on Soretta.
We know the Aegis have
But
one.
the shards that were used to banish the catastrophic dragons are also inherent to the reconstruction of whatever they were shattered from. Now that I think about it, I fear that that may be the Aegis's plan for the catastrophic dragons, is to return them, allow them to wreak their havoc, and to harvest the shards from their hearts.
That would make sense.
Could it be Verdane is the one behind Cadrasel?
It is possible, perhaps, but Verdane is... Verdane doesn't have a tendency to work well with others. Verdane destroys everything. Verdane's greed overrules all things. As the god of greed and destruction, he seeks only his own advancement, and his own advancement involves the destruction of all. And while that could perhaps seem to make sense, it also seems that it would be unlikely for him to be able to direct someone such as Cadrasel for such a long time without betraying them, destroying them.
Not so much a long game type.
Verdane is... Verdane seeks only to break everything. Verdane was never a plotter, from what I recall, at least.
So where do we go from here?
Return to the surface, seek out the Aegis, stop them where you can, find the shards, prevent them from falling into the hands of the Aegis. Hold them back, if you can. I fear that for all of my knowledge and for all of my power, you have far more influence on these events than I could. There are things and futures which I have witnessed. The only path free of darkness comes via the Emerald Wing.
No pressure.
If we ever have any other questions for you, how can we, is there a way we can get in contact with you at all, or have any thoughts, or?
Seeking to contact me may draw the attention of Cadrasel and the Aegis. I'll make every effort to remain in contact with you as frequently as possible, but my opportunities may be brief and few and far between.
We heard of a resistance specifically against the Aegis. Are you helping them as well, or have they just arisen naturally?
The Gazarm will be strong allies to you if you make use of them. They have limited knowledge of these things, but they stand against the Aegis in spite of that. They're admirable people. They're in far over their heads.
Last quick question. What should we do with the shard that the Gorisama,
The
Gizarm.
the Gazarm have currently.
Keep it safe and keep it secret. Do not speak of it. You will need it when the time comes. Just be certain that it is not taken by our enemies. When I first met all of you, or most of you, my apologies, Zafine, I knew of your involvement, but didn't have the opportunity to speak to all of you until just now, really. I see in
Hasn't
all of
presented
you
a problem yet.
chance. I see in all of you a chance to prevent what must otherwise come. That's why I spoke to you of your importance when I first saw you. There are countless paths to the future. Only a few have ever shown any potential to lead to one where true immortality can be restored. So far, all have failed. I have seen paths where you succeed, but I have also seen countless paths where you fail. And if you do fail, then I can only hope that one of the other paths will lead to a future where perhaps your successors might succeed in your place. Do not take that as a lack of confidence. I have every hope that you will be able to serve this purpose, but I fear the trials that mortals may be forced to undergo before such goals can be achieved.
We will further that goal as far as we can carry it.
I believe it is possible that you may save everything yet. I hope you can. If you have further questions, this is the only time I have left.
Would that be the end of you if we succeed?
I don't know. Perhaps. If it takes the end of me to escape serving the purpose for which I exist, that is an ending I would accept. I'd prefer not to, mind, but...
Indeed.
You say you've seen our paths succeed. Is there any advice or gifts that you could give us to help us?
Be careful who you trust. Be careful what you trust. Beware the darkness and the light where you do not expect it. Light casts shadows. If I could be more specific, I would, but to do so would endanger everything.
What time is it now? Like, what time of day?
It's hard to
estimate it would be?
tell. It's hard to tell down here. Your conception of it would be that it was, I think it was kind of evening when you made your way over in this direction, and it's been several hours since you fell down into the Underdark-ish area.
Okay.
So
Yes.
it's probably pretty late night / early morning. Diego looks at each of you in turn and says, Be careful, Emerald Wing. And be careful not only of danger from without, but from danger within. Beware the darkness within you. Beware what each of you could become if you are turned. Seek out the light where you can. Best of luck, my friends. And with that, Diego flickers back out of existence, and the motion of the air just kind of clicks in, and everything seems to be operating as it was before. Ugresh has no particular awareness that anything happened. He's still just kind of considering what he was last speaking about. And if you'll excuse me, I have to go to the bathroom again. Sorry, guys.
Okay.
Like, whoa! That was awesome!
Wow!
Mission accepted! Yes!
Jeez.
Well, if anyone had doubts about staying together as a group, for their character,
Although we stay together.
Right? Yes.
you can lead, but all of this.
I was thinking of walking off, just like,
And sentience will just be irrelevant, obliterated.
Oh, goodness gracious. This makes me think of, like,
So cool.
Guardians of the Galaxy, when Rocket's like, what do we owe these people? Let's just find some corner of the
I can't
galaxy
hear
and live
you
our
anymore,
lives.
Daniel.
What the hey?
I hear him. Do you hear Daniel Star?
Everybody but Sadie. Okay, just a second.
Probably because
That was
Yeah, it's like Guardians of the Galaxy whenever Rocket is like, let's just find us some corner of the galaxy that nobody sees, just live out our lives. And it's like, you got Star-Lord's like, well, we gotta do something. It's like, well, what's it to you? He's like, we're the idiots that live in the galaxy,
Right?
It's like, we're the idiots that live here. Oh, yeah, that's the kind of feeling I'm getting right now. It's some crazy
I'll
Thanos.
do you one better. Why is Gamora?
keep in mind only 2 are on Sarita,
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
and the core Zerval is in a blender essentially.
Yeah.
And going into a blender. So yeah.
Like the last hour or so has just been like one of the biggest info dumps I have thrown at you guys throughout the course of all of this.
You all right? I'm like getting ready to take notes. I'm like looking at my time clock, going, "Okay, at hour marker number, take notes here." It's a lot of info.
Write all this down.
Yeah.
It's good. I love it.
I
Yo,
hear
take
you
this-
guys. Go to bed.
I don't want to go
Dodie, take this down.
bed. Yes, exactly.
All right, hurry up.
And part of the fun thing about this is that I finally get to tell you guys about all this. Like, almost like 95% of what I have just told you, I have been sitting on for like over a year now. This is
You're like, yes!
Unlimited information. Oh goodness, that's good.
like, you found the plot.
It only took us a year to find it.
Not that you don't have like a dozen other subplots that you can go pursue as well, but
Right.
Now it's what gets us to our position, rather than let's go murder something, overthrow another government just for fun.
yeah,
'Cause
like
that's
so
fun.
much of this I have had prepared since the very beginning, or at the very latest a few weeks in. Sadie will remember when I like finally figured out how to lock Diego into the campaign, and I was so excited about it because I figured out that Diego was deaf, and I have said nothing about it to anyone for a year.
And
That
it played
wasn't
out
hard at
perfectly.
all.
Oh man. Yeah, seriously, I thought my one shot was bad for like 2 months. Holy crap.
Oh my gosh.
How do you hold on to something like
Oh,
this?
no.
So yeah, it's just nice to get some of this out there.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Your turn. Oh.
Hi, too, Maddie.
He said, I see you too, Maddie.
Oh man.
It's just a kid night tonight. All the information, all the kids.
Yeah. Okay. You guys need to go to bed now.
Can we maybe wrap that up there for tonight, since we've
Yeah, if
fire
you
hosed
want to
it
call
so
it
far?
here, we could call it here.
I have a question though. How long has it been since we had that conversation? We dropped off that note. That to Gary.
Okay.
Oh, it's probably been 3 or 4 hours, I guess.
What?
Which note are you talking about?
No, like since we used the Monty brought the note with Mouse on his shoulder. To,
Since I lied to Garen.
That's been a few days.
I
Like,
think so,
since
yeah.
we've had...
I was
Yeah.
thinking of like you guys letting Garen know that you were headed underground. That was what I was going on.
No, yeah, no, that's only been a couple hours.
Yeah, it's been 2 or 3 days, I think, since then.
Yeah. I should have better track of the timeline than I do right now, but I don't actually look.
because like after that we went out and then Monty died. So
And then we took a night off, and then we're back at this, and it's been a few hours.
so was it 2 days ago?
Yeah, probably 2 or 3 days.
Yeah.
Yeah, after this Mouse's thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want him to like die or something. Like
Yeah.
that'd be bad.
Yeah.
Or have him sent away.
Yeah. But yeah, if you guys want to call it for the night, then this would probably be a pretty sensible place, especially where
Yeah.
Shara, you have stuff to do tomorrow.
Are you working tomorrow, Sadie, too? I mean, Heidi?
No.
Oh, okay.
I have some catch-up work I have to do for classes, but...
And
Yeah,
life
I'm-
goes on. Do.
Like, I'm excited to get a lot of this information out there. I wasn't sure how much of it was gonna come out right now, but I just kind of was like, well, let's just like dump all of it. Like,
Just go for it.
Yeah. I think you're gonna have to rewatch parts of this. Like
Yeah, reabsorb all of the information.
Yeah.
in terms of lore, this episode is gonna be pretty dense.
Lore dump.
Gold
Yeah.
star on this one.
Okay.
After all of the library maze.
Yeah. It's like episode 35, lore dump.
Oh, man.
After all the doors. We were all just expecting mind flayers behind each of the doors and like, did we touch it? Did we go
Right.
through? Oh no!
Yeah.
Oh, no, they're all dead.
Yeah, wasn't ever with mind flayers, but you guys did avoid triggering a couple of fights that you could have gotten into. So-
Woo!
Oh really? Cool. Good deal. Yay for
Chose the
quiet
right
and
door.
stealthy.
Dang it, I should have been louder.
Well, I am gonna send Craig away.
Bye.
Hey, goodbye,
Bye,
Craig.
Craig.
Goodbye, Craig.